Hello, everybody. This is your Digital Super Saiyan 3 back here with another video. And, well, I recently just got done watching the entire Harry Potter series. Basically, I watched all 8 movies, and now I'm going to do a ranking video on all 8 Harry Potter movies. And I wrote them down in a particular order from 8 being the worst to 1 being the best. So, coming in at number 8 is Harry Potter and the Order of the Phoenix. Movie 5. Okay, Movie 5, The Order of the Phoenix. I'm gonna say it, I really did not like this movie. I mean, I've seen people rank this as one of their least favorite Harry Potter movies, and I can see where they're coming from when I watched it. It's not really that great of a movie. I mean, Umbridge was just unbearable throughout the movie. A character this evil, a character who's just as evil as Voldemort himself. Wow. And the fact that she works for the Ministry. Oh, and also I want to talk about is Cornelius Fudge himself, who's just unbearable as the Minister of Magic. Cornelius Fudge, like he was a terrible, terrible minister. Especially if he hired someone like Umbridge to do her job. And I hated Umbridge throughout this movie. She kept putting up these proclamations and, oh, and if you don't learn my way, you get detention. And she has students use these quill pens to write in their own blood. She uses truth serums on them. And yeah, she made Cho rat out Harry and the others when Harry was teaching the other students how to defend themselves properly against dark wizards, or defense against the dark arts, because Harry was teaching them properly how to do it. While Dolores, on the other hand, she doesn't even teach anything. I did love her comeuppance at the end, and the Voldemort scenes were really good, but Order of the Phoenix would just be one of those films I would just skip. And also, yeah. At number 7 is Harry Potter and the Deathly Hallows Part 1. Okay, when I went into both Deathly Hallows Part 1 and 2, they gave me two different sensations. Now, Deathly Hallows Part 1, I did love the opening and the ending. The first act was really good, and the third act was really awesome, but then that very middle, the second act. That second act, part of the time I felt like the second act was kind of boring. Yeah, it felt kind of boring. I mean, the one moment I did like was when Harry and Hermione went to Godric's Hollow, the hometown of Harry's parents, where they were killed by Voldemort at the beginning of the story. But that was kind of it. And also, yeah, Ron completely leaves Harry and Hermione and then comes back just moments later, so it really made it kind of pointless that Ron left. Yeah, especially since he came back to aid Harry and Hermione till the end of the movie, so why did Ron feel the need to leave? Yeah, I get it, he was worried about his family, but honestly, yeah, he still comes back and helps out anyway, so it was kind of pointless. Uh, but the second act is where Deathly Hallows Part 1 is just only at number 7. It's that second act. That second act was just kind of boring. But, the first act and the final act was really good, but it's that second act, that very middle, that really bugged me and why it's only here at the number 7 spot. Number 6, we go all the way back to 2001, the very first Harry Potter movie with Harry Potter and the Sorcerer's Stone. Now, Harry Potter and the Sorcerer's Stone, all I can say about it, very dated CGI. That really holds it back. I mean, yes, it was early 2000s CGI, but where I say it didn't age the where I think it aged the worst at was the troll battle in the girls' bathroom. I mean, that whole scene with the troll looked like a bad PS1 cutscene. It looked like a bad cutscene from a PS1 game, a PlayStation 1 game, and yeah, that's what I gotta give the Sorcerer's Stone here. But I did love the flying scenes. The flying scenes were really good. The dialogue was very interesting. For a first film, it's not terrible. Christopher Columbus was such a Chris Columbus was such a good director. Uh, sure, he's no David Yates. I mean, David Yates did direct my favorite film of this franchise, and oh, don't worry, we're gonna get into that when I get into it. But yeah, I would say Sorcerer's Stone would be ranked here at number 6. At number 5 is Harry Potter and the Goblet of Fire, the fourth film of the franchise, based off of the fourth book. Now, many people said that they had problems with the Goblet of Fire because they cut some stuff from the book. But honestly, I didn't particularly have a problem with the Goblet of Fire. Sure, it's not perfect, but I can admit it isn't bad. I mean, there was some scenes that stood out to me from the Goblet of Fire. I loved the scene of Voldemort's resurrection. That was really cool. The cemetery scene at the end, and I did love the dragon chase when the Hungarian Horntail was attacking Harry, and Harry was on his broomstick. It was a really fun chase scene that we got. Um, and I did love the lake scene. That was really good too. Um, and you have you had the Death Eater's attack on the festival. That was really cool. Though I really wish we could have gotten more with the Quidditch World Cup with more of the match. Why it was just going by so fast. They left us on a real bland note just for us to have that Quidditch match. Only just not even fully get to see that scene play out exactly because no, we had to quickly get into the Death Eater attack. I mean, yeah, that was one takeaway from it, and yes, there was the entrances for the schools, but other than that, I still thought Goblet of Fire was such a unique entry, and I did love it. So, I would still give Goblet of Fire that watch through, and yes, it did make my number 5. So, yeah. Number 4, we go to the Deathly Hallows Part 2. Now, if you watch Part 1, it was just mainly an appetizer. Part 2 was the main course itself, and it was a damn satisfying main course. Harry and Voldemort's final duel, the trip back to Hogwarts, especially since Part 1 didn't have Hogwarts in it, but Part 2 we finally get to see Hogwarts again, the battle for Hogwarts. This was a massive battle scene, and I loved how it played out at the end. And it definitely deserved the number 4 spot on my list. And I definitely loved the epilogue that happened at the end of the movie. That was pretty cool to see that Harry and Ginny got together and they had children together, and Harry named one of his sons Albus Severus Dumbledore, or Albus Severus Potter. Harry named his child after Severus Snape and Albus Dumbledore. Which, that's pretty cool that Harry did name his child after Snape and Dumbledore. And speaking of Snape, we got to see a lot of his backstory in this movie, which that was pretty cool. We got to see after he died, so that was pretty cool. We got to see Snape's backstory just play out, and that he had been a double agent this whole time. And that he and Dumbledore were in on it together. So that was pretty cool. Number 3, Harry Potter and the Chamber of Secrets. Now, I gotta admit, I love Chamber of Secrets. I would say Chamber of Secrets, is better than Sorcerer's Stone. And I gotta say, yeah, it definitely had a better opening than Sorcerer's Stone did. Not to say I don't think the opening of Sorcerer's Stone was bad, but I thought Chamber of Secrets was better. And yeah, the Chamber of Secrets, to me, I loved the Basilisk, and the big final battle against the Basilisk was pretty cool. We had the addition of Moaning Myrtle, which, yeah, sure, Moaning Myrtle is a bit of a crybaby, but then again, that's her whole thing. She is meant to be someone who moans a lot since she got the name Moaning Myrtle. But, Moaning Myrtle was a fun character. I mean, and I did love the involvement of Jenny Weasley in this movie. I mean, sure, Jenny Weasley appeared as a minor character in the last movie, but, she gets a very big role in the following films. So that's pretty cool that Jenny gets a big role in the following films, especially since later on in Deathly Hallows Part 1, she becomes Harry's wife. So that's pretty cool. Number 2 is Harry Potter and the Prisoner of Azkaban. Alright, I gotta admit, I like Sirius Black. I thought Sirius Black was a really cool character. I liked how he could turn himself into a dog, that he is an animagus. So that's pretty cool, he can turn himself into a dog. I mean, yeah, we were demonstrated that before with McGonagall when she turns herself into a cat. And we also learned that Harry's dad can turn himself into a stag. But it's Sirius Black's transformation that's really cool. I mean, come on. Who wouldn't want to be a dog? I mean, that sharp sense of smell. I mean, dogs have a unique sense of smell. Look at her. Look at my dog. Exactly. My furry companion here, she's got a good sense of smell. But, when we learn the truth that Sirius didn't sell out Harry's parents, I kind of feel sorry for him. That he had to spend 12 years in Azkaban prison after he was framed by Pettigrew. Speaking of Pettigrew, yes, this movie also introduced Pettigrew as well. And I freaking hate Pettigrew. That smarmy, buck-toothed, fat-ass bastard. Who only just sold Harry's parents out just to save his own butt. Yeah. Anyway, The Prisoner of Azkaban, why it's only number 2? Well, don't get me wrong, I love Prisoner of Azkaban, but Ron was really done dirty in this movie, that he got the short end of the stick, but I still thought Prisoner of Azkaban was an enjoyable movie. I did love the Time Turner. I thought the Time Turner device was a really good device they used to turn back time. That was a really good device. And I did like the Marauders map, and I loved how the Marauders map was used in the end credits of Prisoner of Azkaban. And yeah, I did love how Harry went out of his way to save Sirius Black at the end of the movie, how he and Hermione used the Time Turner to save Sirius, which that was pretty cool, as well as having to go back and save Buckbeak before Buckbeak got executed. Yeah, I hate you, Malfoy. Yeah, especially, I gotta say, I hated Malfoy in that movie in particular. And at number 1, if I had to pick this one, Harry Potter and the Half-Blood Prince, the 6th movie from 2009. So, after you watch Order of the Phoenix and go into Half-Blood Prince, now I know a lot of people will probably say that Half-Blood isn't one of their favorite Harry Potter films, but that's fine with me. I like Half-Blood Prince. I loved Horace Slughorn. I loved how he played a big role in the life of Tom Riddle, who later became Lord Voldemort himself. I did love the Death Eater's attack on the city at the beginning of the movie, is the way the movie opens up with this massive attack on the Millennium Bridge, and the Millennium Bridge gets destroyed. And even having to see that scene in the coffee shop was pretty subtle. And also having to learn that Slughorn, that one of Slughorn's favorite students was Lily Potter, Harry Potter's mother, which that was really cool. And also, I loved how Harry and Dumbledore went into that cave together, and they were attacked. Dumbledore saves Harry, then they teleport back to Hogwarts. Just the climax of that movie was awesome. And of course, I did love the scenes with Ron, getting to shine in the Quidditch match, how he became like this goalie at the end, which that was pretty cool that Ron got to be like the goalie. And he got to have a spot on the Quidditch team. So in the end, that was pretty cool that Ron had those scenes. Ron was pretty funny in this movie, so I gotta give Ron Weasley credit in this movie. So anyway, this has been your Digital Super Saiyan 3, and I will see you guys later. See ya!